Good morning all of you. Today we are going to estimate different items of work for a two-room building using center line method. So in this estimate we will calculate quantities of earthwork in excavation, cement concrete work in foundation, brick work in foundation, DPC and brick work in superstructure. So now let us move to the plan and section. So here this is the plan of two-room building and this one is the section of wall. Okay, the first step of center line method is finding out the center to center length of the entire building, total center to center length including the long wall and short wall. So for example, so this one is the plan of the same building and with the center line length. So as per the center line method, the first step is finding out total center line length of the building. So here the total center line, if the center line is named as A, B, B, C, C, D and E, F. So total center line length will be AB plus BC plus CD plus DA plus EF. So this is the total center line length. And in order to get the quantity, so the total quantity will be equal to length into breadth into length into breadth into depth. That means the total quantity will be obtained by multiplying with this total center line length the corresponding breadth and depth of the item. Okay. For example, if you are going to calculate the total quantity of earthwork in excavation, that means with the total center line length you will multiply the corresponding breadth and depth. Similarly, if you want to calculate the total quantity of cement concrete work in foundation, then with this total center line length you will multiply the corresponding breadth and depth of concrete work in foundation. So this is equal to the total quantity. Okay. So this total quantity can also be written in this format. Okay. I am writing here the total quantity can be written as AB into B into D plus this AB into B into D, that means if we will open the bracket then we can write in this format also, BC into B into D plus CD into B into D. This value can be written as AB into B into D, BC into B into D, then CD into B into D, then DA into B into D, then EF into B into D. Okay. So the total quantity can also be written in this format. Okay. So see, first we will consider this part. This AB into B into D. So that means AB into B into D. So this B is the width, this is the width of the work, any item of work. If you will consider it as, you can consider it as earthwork in excavation or brickwork in foundation. It can be anything. So this will represent the width. So here AB into B into D means it will cover this much of portion. Clear? Similarly, second one is BC into B into D. That means it will cover this portion. Third one is CD into B into D. That means this will cover this much of portion. Then DA into B into D. DA into B into D. Finally, EF into B into D. So this will cover this portion. This means it will cover this portion. Okay, clear? So, in the last class, we have seen that there is some common portion. There is some common portion such as this one, this one, this one and this one. So, these portions are common to both walls. That means we have considered it twice, while there are some left out portion that we have discussed about this in our last example. So, these will not going to affect the total quantity, as some portion are coming twice and some are not considered at all. But as they have same dimension, so they will not going to affect the quantity. But there is some other portion which is also coming twice. That is the EF wall. So see, this portion and this portion which is common to, on this side it is common to EF and CD, on this side it is common to EF and AB. So these portion are also coming twice and it has to be subtracted. Otherwise, we will get an excess quantity of these portion. So these must be deducted from the total center line length. Clear? So the total center line length, from the total center line length, we have to deduct how much of portion. So if this is the total width, this one is the particular, this is the width of a particular item of wall. That means this, if this one is B, then we have to subtract B by 2 from one side and B by 2 from the other side. That means we have to subtract B by 2 from both the side. Okay? Clear? So, when you are going for calculation of any particular item of work, then from the center line length, you have to deduct the width of that particular item of work for for two number of junction. This is one junction and this is another junction. So as there are two junction, it has to be we have to subtract one breadth. That means half breadth for each junction. Okay, clear? So let us move to the calculation of earthwork in excavation. So here, for our case, you can see here for our case what will be the center line length. So total center to center line length for this particular case total center to center length will be equal to, so in this case, in this side the center to center length of the wall is 10.6 and on this side the center to center length is 6.3. So we can write it as 2 into 10.6 as there are two number of walls having same dimension of center length 10.6. With this we will add 3 into 6.3. So there are three numbers of wall having same center to center length of 6.3. So the total center to center length will become 40.10 meter. Okay. So this is the total center to center length. Then for calculation of quantity, as we have discussed just now, this building has two number of junction. Okay. So for finding out total center to center length, so these portions at these two junction we are getting some excess portion. So we need to subtract that. So we have to subtract for one junction the excess quantity is b by 2. That means width by 2. And for another junction it is width by 2. So for two number of junction we need to subtract 2 into width by 2. So this quantity is to be deducted for different item of work. So for when we are going for calculation of earthwork in excavation, then for earthwork in excavation particularly the total center line length will be 40.10. From 40.10 we have to subtract 2 into b by 2. Here b is the width of corresponding item. Similarly, when we are going for calculation of brickwork in foundation, then from this 40.1 is constant, but from that we need to subtract the excessive portion. Okay. So let us move to the details of measurement form. Here this is the total center line length calculation. 2 into center to center length of long wall plus 3 into center to center length of short wall. That means 2 into 10.6 plus 3 into 6.3. Then in details of measurement form, this is the earthwork in excavation in foundation. So number will be 1 as we have considered the entire building. So number will be 1. What is the length? So here in the remark column you have to write length equals to 40.1. This is the total center to center length. From that here you have to subtract 2 into, as there are two numbers of junction, you have to subtract 2 into b by 2. So this b will stand for the width of the excavation. So what is the width of our excavation? So from this you can see the width of excavation is equal to width of the cement concrete work in foundation. That means here our width is this one. So for excavation work width is 1.10 and the depth is from the ground level up to the bottom of the foundation. So we will simply add 20, 10, 10, 10, 20, 30. So this will be equal to 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. So depth is equal to 1 meter. This value, this B and this D is same as the case of your long wall and short wall. Okay, only there is variation in the length. So B is 1.1 and D is 1. Okay, see here. So here we will find out the length as your length becomes 40.10 minus 2 into B by 2. So 40.10 minus 2 into B is here how much? Width of the foundation, that is 1.10 divided by 2. So this will be coming out as 39 meter. So this is the length, breadth is 1.1 and depth is 1. Then by multiplying these three, we will get the quantity of excavation is 42.90 cubic meter. You can also match this volume, this quantity with your long wall and short wall method. So the quantity in both the cases will be same. Okay. Then we will move to the next item of work, that is cement concrete work in foundation. So see here, cement concrete work in foundation, the number will become 1, and for this case also the length is equal to 40.1 is the total center to center length. From that we will subtract 2 number of junction. So 40.1 minus 2 into here also the width is 1.1. So this will also become 39. Breadth is 1.1 and depth is, as you know, the depth of the concrete work in foundation is 0.3. So by multiplying these three, we will get the total quantity of concrete work in foundation as 12.87 cubic meter. Okay. So this is all about for today's class. In the next class, we will do the rest item of work of the same building. Thank you.